on that main line. We keep it active, simply listo when it's game time. I put that OT for the bottom, how we earn stripes. Like catching enemies and leave them in a past life. Y por su lengua, that's the reason why they get sliced. They think they're tough, got the better and they drop dime. These fools are trapper, crave attention while they speak lies. But fuck the talking, ain't no evidence on this side. You're fucking with a straight demonio shit that don't hide.
What comes around, should we take flight? Nothing new, another day on this rough side.
But in el barrio, we don't talk, fool, we take flight. And when there's beef, fool, you know that it's on sight. Love and hate, boy, you know that's a thin line. Make the wrong pick and flat line. Make the wrong pick and flat line. We don't talk in the barrio, fool, we take flight. And when there's beef, fool, you know that it's on sight. Love and hate, boy, you know that's a thin line. Make the wrong pick and flat line.
You are now watching M.O.D. Entertainment.
What's good, G-Life? This right here is LA County. And LA County is where we'll be starting off one of the first of many videos talking about and breaking down Project Varrios. Obviously, projects being low-income housing units that were designed to help the families in need. And I'm going to have to do about 3 to 4 videos only because there's that many projects and there's that many neighborhoods that I wouldn't be able to make them fit all in one, in one video. And we'll be starting off right here in the 818, the San Fernando Valley, my home. The 818 is home to one of these projects, the low-income housing units, which is located right here in the city of Pacoima. Yes, Pacoima does have projects, and the San Fernando Valley does have projects, for those who thought it didn't. Pacoima is an area that is very gang-infested, with several different barrios within, the city of Pacoima. But one of the most recognizable barrios and notorious ones is the Pacoima Project Boys. The Pacoima Project Boys is a barrio that ain't no joke. Obviously right here located in the Carl's Block, the heart of their hood, their main domain, their dojo right here in the projects. The projects, obviously very familiar, has made several cameos in music videos and TV shows and etc. Like the show, I think it's called Snowfalling or Snowfall. It made a cameo in there, and one of Cocaine's videos. Obviously, Cocaine being the West Coast rapper. So the projects, are very, famous, and very notorious, homie. The Project Boys are one of Pacoima's largest gangs and one of Pacoima's most notorious neighborhoods. These guys are not playing. I should know. We go at it. They're one of our, strong adversaries. You know what I mean? And I take nothing from these individuals. They handle their business, homie. They have their writers. I'm not a hater. I'm always going to give credit where credit's due. And I tip my hats off to these guys. These guys ain't no suckers. That I know for a fact because I, went at it, with them, a lot, and I could tell you that they never ranked it and they always came and handled theirs. And I give them that mutual respect. You know what I'm saying? Because they are about the business, and they're very large. Like I said, the Project Boys is more than 300 members to the Project Boys gang. So they're no, they're no scrubs, they're no lightweight. Even with everything that the city has thrown at this neighborhood, it seems like they're just, keep getting bigger, if anything. The Project Boys is one of its, most recognizable neighborhoods within the San Fernando Valley. People definitely hear about these guys, you know what I mean? And they got the projects on lockdown right there. With so many different enemigas around, but they seem to handle business, quite well. And still they represent for theirs. They have been right here for a cool minute. I was told that they were right here since the late 60s, early 70s is when this barrio was established. So it's not as old as, like, let's say the Treses or the Latin times or the Flats. But don't get it twisted. The Project Boys still handle business. They still hold it down, and these guys ain't no suckers. But that's what's up with the Pacoima Project Boys right there representing for theirs. And as we leave the San Fernando Valley and heading into Los Angeles to the portion that is known as Nella standing for Northeast Los Angeles, Nella is home to one of its, old projects. And not only its old projects, but one of LA County's oldest gangs in general. One of California's oldest gangs, which is the Barrio Dogtown. Barrio Dogtown is a neighborhood that has already been around since the 1800s. Said to be one of the first, if not the first, gang. It's debated, between, Alpine, Macy's, and, Dogtown, So, you know, a very, very old school barrio that still is here, still active, still maintaining. As a matter of fact, probably one of the only neighborhoods around from that time that is still a functioning neighborhood and still larger than before. You know what I mean? This neighborhood is, I was at least told that it was more than 700 members to the Dogtown gang. So we're talking about a barrio that, you know, ain't no chumps. And this is their home right here in the William Housing Projects. The William Housing Projects, the, you know, iconic brick city, you know, for the design of the projects, you know, because of the bricks, the brick design that it has to it. You know, and the area obviously being called, you know, Dogtown for, you know, the dog pound that was located right there, you know, that is no longer there. But the dog pound may not be there, but shit, the dogs definitely didn't go nowhere. They right here, you know, in the William Housing Projects, still right there. They still maintain, but not only here, but they're also located in the, you know, the back streets like Montavista, you know, and throughout these areas. So it's not just in the housing projects, you know, where they're located at, but throughout the area. But the housing projects was their birth, is their dojo, their main domain, the heart of their hood. That's where it goes down. You know, that's where you can find the perros. That's why you see the PJs hit up. Obviously, you know, these individuals are always going to be proud of your home roots, their home grounds. You know, a lot of these gangs do put, you know, projects, you know, proyectos. You know, they're, you know, proud to be born and raised at the projects, homie. They're, you know, at the PJs, homie. It's a rough, rugged, and raw life. You already know coming out the projects. It was definitely going to be some chaos going around. No different right here in the William Housing Projects. And this is where you can still find the perros doing their thing. Now, as we make our way down to the east side of Los Angeles, but still staying right here up in the hills, is an area where we're able to find one of these other project neighborhoods, which is located right here in the Rose Hill Courts. The Rose Hill Courts is one of the more smaller project sets. You know, they're not as large as some of the rest of these neighborhoods. As a matter of fact, you know, these projects hardly get brought up, and this neighborhood hardly gets spoken about, but is a real neighborhood. And hey, it gets on and cracking. Even though these projects may not be as large as, you know, the counterparts, don't ever get it twisted. They be cracking right here, and these guys definitely be, you know, kicking up dust and putting in work and putting theirs on the map. You know, it is a old school barrio within the area. Has already been right here since the 1950s, which is the RHG, or the RH neighborhood, which is known as the Rose Hill Gang, or Barrio Rose Hill, located right here in the Rose Hill Courts. You know, not one of the more larger projects, but nonetheless, it gets on and cracking. And even though some of the projects have been knocked down, you know, because gentrification is starting to take, you know, fold or whatever, don't ever get it twisted. This neighborhood is still right here and still maintaining themselves, you know, with more than 110 members to the Rose Hill Gang. Their barrio is everything from Monterey Road, you know, which leads you right to the heart of their hood, right here in the Rose Hill Courts, and the Rose Hill Park being their domain, their dojo. That's where it goes down, homie. You know what I mean? It gets treacherous right there. But their barrios, you know, on Bondary Avenue, Mercury Avenue, you know, obviously Monterey, and you know, all of that is considered their barrio, throughout all those back ends and back streets, you know, all the way to Via Mia, Collison Avenue, that stretches, you know, to their barrio, and everything where the park's at, you know, on Debs Park Road, as well. Like I said, it gets treacherous right here. Don't ever get it twisted. You know what I mean? This barrio definitely handles business, you know, right there on the Brownie Avenue as well. This barrio is still right here, still maintaining themselves. You know, they be handling business, homie. This gang is definitely not playing. You know, the Rose Hill Gang, the Green Gang, you know, they do use the color green, but they are sureños, you know, blue ragging and everything. But it's one of these neighborhoods that, you know, rocks the green. And still maintaining themselves right here and putting theirs on the map. So now that we enter the area that is known as the east side of Los Angeles, this is where you can find one of the area's most notorious and most recognized neighborhoods. You know, one of the large ones, one of the ones that, you know, people definitely hear about and have heard about. This neighborhood is no joke, right off the 10 freeway, homie. is where you could find the barrio Hazard Grande, Big Hazard. Big Hazard probably sounds familiar to some of you guys because it is the same Big Hazard that makes the cameo in the movie American Me when that youngster runs up to the three guys and tells them that where they from and the Hazard controla todo. Yes, Hazard is a real gang. It is very notorious and it is located right here in the Ramona Garden Projects. The Ramona Garden Projects, one of, Los Angeles' most infamous, notorious areas, homie. You definitely don't want to be walking around here at night, homie. Right here is definitely on and cracking. Like I said, this is one of Los Angeles' most, dangerous neighborhoods. The one you hear about. Huda has thrown everything at these guys. These guys are well respected, well connected, and very large as well. I was told that the Hazard Grande, it is more than 800 members, because it's already an old barrio. You know what I mean? We're talking about one of, Los Angeles. They're up there when it comes to being old. You know what I'm saying? Been around since, I was told, since the 1930s, when this neighborhood was established. And not only can you find them right here in the Ramona housing projects, but throughout the area, throughout Chicago Street, through Marengo Street, all the way to Soto, to Valley Boulevard. Yes, they extend all the way to Valley Boulevard, to Bonnie Beach Place, Hibbert, Attridge Avenue, Floler Street, all of that, Whiteside Street, everything, Lancaster Avenue. Obviously, if you take Lancaster, it takes you right to their hood, you know what I mean? If you hit Lancaster and Soto right there, and then you have on Evergreen as well. Like I said, this barrio is very big, very notorious, you know what I mean? It gets on and cracking right here, and the projects are not, like I said, you just don't want to get lost roaming around these projects, homie. The Hazard Grande, is true to their name. Very dangerous, a danger zone, and very large. Like I said, these guys, people have read up on documentaries on the life and everything. You will know that the Hazard Gang is very well connected and very well rooted. These guys ain't playing, and they're still larger than ever, still maintaining themselves right here, holding it down for the Hazard Grande. Shout out to all the homies from Hazard. Shout out to my cousin Chuco from Hazard, and they still doing their thing and putting theirs on the map. Now, as we still maintain ourselves right here in Boyle Heights on the east side of Los Angeles, is where you're able to find another one of these project neighborhoods, which are located right here on 4th Street. 4th Street is where you're able to find the Pico Garden Projects. The Pico Garden Projects is, a pretty large project sets. Now, they have gone through some remodeling, so they look a little bit nicer than what they used to before. They did, they actually invested their money in the area, cleaned it up. But just because they cleaned it up doesn't mean that it's, it's all fine and dandy, ain't nothing cracking right here. No, it's still treacherous. Don't ever get it twisted. Like I said, looks could deceive. This is not how they always have looked. Approach with caution because it gets on and cracking right here, because this is home to the 4th Street gang, the Cuatro Flats. 4th Street is already an old barrio within the area, already a neighborhood that's been already right here since the 1930s as well. A very large, at one point was a large neighborhood. They're not as large as they used to be because, with all the sweeps and, and other homies getting busted and everything like that. But don't get it twisted. This neighborhood still has a strong presence. I'm just saying that they're not as large as they used to be. And this is the barrio in which the rapper Big Locote, this is the barrio in which he's from. And it gets treacherous right here in the 4th Street, projects, because within the area you have several other barrios, you know what I mean? That stay very close. So it gets hectic and chaotic right here. Don't ever get it twisted. But the Pico Gardens, like I said, home to the Cuatro Flats gang. Sometimes you don't even see like the 4th Street Flats. Sometimes they'll even write it just the Pico Gardens, letting them, those who see the Pico Gardens already know that it's being referred to as the 4th Street Flats. You get what I'm saying? This is their home, their birthplace, where they get it on and cracking. These guys ain't, to be taken lightly, homie. Like I said, they already been right here for a cool minute, with several clicas, of theirs. As a matter of fact, some of the members, were even FBI's most wanted. Man, this, like I said, it gets on and cracking right here in the 4th Streets, where you're able to find the Cuatro Flats gang right here in the Pico Garden Projects. And now, as we make our way a little bit more down into Boyle Heights, to the area right here on Lorena and 8th, or Lorena and Olympic, where you're able to find the Estrada Courts. The Estrada Courts being home to the barrio VNE. VNE translating to Barrio Nuevo Estrada. Obviously, Estrada meaning the Estrada Courts. The Estrada Courts projects right here on Olympic and Lorena. All the way to, Grandview. Now, this neighborhood is very notorious, and it's not only located right here, but they are located in several other spots, Lancaster, Montebello. So they do have, chapters in different locations, not just right here. But this is their birthplace, their stronghold. This is where it gets on and cracking. This is a barrio that is already an old school barrio, been right here since the 40s, well connected as well. You know what I mean? A well respected barrio, with more than, I was at least told, more than 700 members to the VNE gang. I got a lot of homies out of the VNE gang, so I know they with the business. I know they handle business. You know what I mean? Approach with caution when entering the courts, homie. This shit gets on and cracking. You know what I mean? Now, the Estrada Courts may not be as large as some of these other projects, units, but they produce a lot of homeboys, man. Like I said, you have a lot of neighborhoods within this area too, so it gets very treacherous and very chaotic. But like I said, the VNE gang is just a very large neighborhood, and not only right here in the Estrada Courts, but also located throughout the area, like on Estrada, like on Hunter. So they're not just located within the courts, but the area around the courts as well, on Euclid and all of that. So don't ever get it twisted. The VNE gang definitely handle business. They definitely kick it up. Like I said, I got a lot of homies out of here. Shout out to Mems. Shout out to Woody. Shout out to Jimbo. Shout out to Smiley. Big Smiley. Shout out to Also. Shout out to Little G. Shout out to Spider. Shout out to Little Fats. Shout out to shout out to all the homies from Flacco. Can't forget about Flacco. Shout out to Flacco as well. Shout out to all the tiny winos that be right there representing. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the homies out of VNE that be holding it down right there still for the Estrada Courts. Like I said, I got a lot of homies out of here. It's the barrio where my suegro's from as well. So I had many drunken nights right here with these camaradas in the projects. So I know that they definitely post up, and I know they definitely handle business, and I got a lot of respect. They always showed me love, so I show nothing but love and respect as well back. But shout out to all the homies out of VNE that still hold it down for the courts.
Thank you for watching M.O.D Entertainment. Make sure you like and subscribe.